Hi, my name is Leslie Benson. I am owner and creator of the Plaid Poodle. I teach people how to make beautiful paper crafts, and today I'm going to share a fun card technique that I think you would enjoy using on many of your projects. I'm going to turn the camera around. Hello. I'm using products by Stampin' Up, and if you do not have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. If you need a mini holiday catalog or an annual catalog, please reach out to me. You can visit leslie.stampinup.net, and there'll be a little link for you to contact me, and we can connect and get a catalog out to you. The products we're using today are from the Hello Harvest bundle in the holiday catalog. We're going to use the stamp set and the dies. Here are the dies up front and personal, up close and personal. There's a die for the large pumpkin image. There's this fun textured pumpkin dies to make a three-dimensional die. And then there are dies for some of the images. There are also three stem dies. I have lost one of my dies. I'm anxiously searching my craft room for the third die. Pray that I find that. So we are going to use that, and we're also using the paper, which I'll grab. It's on my other desk. Beautiful, rich, very regal. I kind of call this classy paper. Colorful patterns on one side with a black and white on the other. So very versatile. And that is, the paper is called the Rustic Harvest, and I will list all the products and links to the information for those below the video, so you can look there. So let's get started on our project. This is the card we're going to make today. It's very luscious, lots of layers and texture. This is the technique that I wanted to share that I thought would, I plan on using it for many, many different occasions and many different cards. I'm starting out with a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 inch cardstock. This is Cajun Craze Color by Stampin' Up. And I have embossed, with an embossing folder, the front of my card base. And I have used it is called the Gingham embossing folder to give it a little texture. I thought it would be really fun for the texture to kind of peek through behind the curtain. And then I chose this really fun print. It's full of acorns and leaves, and then the opposite side is a very regal crushed curry colored pattern. Now, to get this little fold back, I am going to find the center of this measures 5 1/4 by 4. It's 1/4 of an inch smaller than the front of my card. I'm going to find the center, and I'm just going to very gently put a pinch right there. So I know that's the center. That way I don't have to measure or anything. And then I'm going to use my ruler. And on that little fold, I'm going to measure in 1 3/4 inches, which is right there. And I am going to just take a little piece of Post-it note to kind of flag me, and you'll see what I'm doing here in 1 second. I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I am going to just cut on where that little divot is that I made with the tiny little crease. I'm going to use my blade and just cut until I reach that Post-it note, and that's 1 3/4 inches. That just kind of gives me a little stopping point. And then I'm going to grab, if I can find it. Oh, here we go. My paper piercing mat. It's just a cushion for me to use with my, I'm going to grab a ruler, and then I'm going to put my ruler right where that cut ends, and I'm going to line it up with this corner. Now you may be able to fold easier than I do, and you wouldn't even need to do this step. But it creates a little crease to give it a crisp fold, and it goes from here to the corner. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Like I said, you could probably eyeball that. I just wanted to be careful and precise, I guess is the word. So there's your little fold away, and then we can place that on our card base. I'm going to just put some Stamp and Seal adhesive right along the edges of this. And then we're going to center it right on the front of our card. Okay, and then we can either glue these down, but I kind of liked a little dimension on mine. Like I said, my card has a lot of texture and dimension, layers. So I'm going to just take a Stampin' Dimensional, which is just a little foam sticker that's got a little bit of height to it, and that just pops that up just the tiniest bit. Then I'm going to cut, or what I've done already to save time here so you don't have to watch me cut. I'm using the Layered Circles dies by Stampin' Up. These are workhorses for your craft room. If you don't have circle dies, you will use these in all your projects. I've cut a black circle and then a basic white circle, and before I put those together and adhere them to my card, I am going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, and I am using the You Are Such a Blessing sentiment from the stamp set. And I'm going to use Cajun Craze ink. And then I want to center my sentiment on the circle, but I also want it to be up a little bit above center because we're going to add all of our little die cuts and our jewels, our little sparkle later. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to adhere my circle onto my scallop circle. Right in the middle of that. And I'm going to adhere that to the center of the card, or right over our little fold there. And I'm also going to use dimensionals for that. I'm going to scooch it over just a little bit. There we go. Here's my sample, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Now we need to stamp all of these elements for our die cutting. So I've got a piece of, this is 2.5 by 8.5. It's probably a little more than I need. And I'm going to use my Cajun Craze ink, my crushed curry ink, and my pumpkin pie ink. And I pulled all of these colors out of the beautiful Hello Harvest paper. We've got our Cajun Craze, our crushed curry, and actually there is no pumpkin pie. I made that up. I just have to use pumpkin pie on my fall cards. And I'm also going to use Memento black ink because we are going to color some of the images with our alcohol-based Stampin' Blend markers. So I am going to use the Memento ink on my little bouquet here, full of sunflowers. I imagine if you colored this with different colors, those flowers could easily be something else, but who doesn't love a sunflower? Then I'm going to also stamp 3 of these small sunflower images. We're going to color these as well. And then with our color inks, I'm going to grab my Stampin' Chamois here. I am going to do my crushed curry leaf. We're going to make some fall leaves here. Of course, the crushed craze. And then one final pumpkin pie leaf. There we go. Aren't those pretty? Oh, they just scream fall, right? Okay, we are done stamping. So I am going to shut all these inks up and set them aside. Now I'm going to do a little bit of coloring just so you can kind of see how I've done it to add a little bit of shading. I have used Mango Melody Stampin' Blends, the Cajun Craze Stampin' Blends, and the Mossy Meadow Stampin' Blends, and then I used the Bronze Stampin' Blends for the center of my sunflowers. So to start off with, I'm going to just take my light Stampin' Blend, and I'm going to use my brush tip. You're either a brush tip fan or a fine point fan, and I am more of a brush tip fan. It just seems to go faster for me. So I'm going to color in all of these sunflowers with the light Mango Melody. Stampin' Up! Does not carry a crushed curry Stampin' Blend, but the Mango Melody works just fine. It coordinates just fine. And then I'm going to take the darker marker, and just in the center of these flowers add a little depth by using the darker marker. Nothing fancy. Don't need skill. But see how that adds just a little bit of depth to your flower, a little bit of dimension. And then I'm going to take the bronze marker and I'm just going to tip those flower centers. And I'm going to take the light Mossy Meadow. I don't think I'm using the dark Mossy Meadow. I think the light will be just fine. And I'm coloring in all the green. There we go. And then finally, I'm going to take the dark and the light Cajun Craze. I'm going to use the dark on these little flowers here. And then I'm going to take the light and these little, they look like dandelions to me, getting ready to blow in the wind. I'm just going to add a little color to them as well. And then I would go ahead and color in these smaller sunflowers just like I did the larger ones. I don't want you to have to sit and watch me do that. And then we can use our dies, and that will cut out that whole bouquet. And then we have this smaller flower die that will cut out the smaller ones. And then this, is that a maple? Not a maple leaf. That looks like an oak leaf die that can cut out our leaves. And I went ahead and did that before I started filming. So we have all of those pieces ready to go. Put our card together. So the first thing I want to do is to position my little bouquet here. And I'm just going to take a little liquid glue. I could use my Stampin' Seal. And I'm not going to put anything under here because I'm going to tuck, as you can see in my example here, I'm going to tuck my leaves under there. So I didn't want any Stampin' Dimensionals to be in the way of that right now. But I am going to place the smaller little flowers. I'm going to pull some mini dimensionals. Here we go. On these smaller flowers. And this is just going to add some dimension to our bouquet. So cute. I'm going to kind of put one, I don't want to cover up my Cajun Craze flower because I think that adds some extra color to the card and kind of ties in our card base. So I'm going to set that one there. And then I think I will put one here. And then another one right down here. So we've got this lovely bouquet of sunflowers, and some of them are peeking out a little further than the other ones. Okay, now I'm going to add my leaves that we stamped and die cut out. And I'm going to use dimensionals for those as well. Like I said, this card has a lot of layers. I'm going to go ahead and put these on so they're not in my way. And it's personal preference, but I like to start with the center. So I'm going to put that Cajun Craze one right there in that opening. And then I think this one is the pumpkin. No, this is the pumpkin pie. This one's the crushed curry. I'm going to stick it up there. And then we're going to stick this final pumpkin pie one down here at the bottom. And then it's kind of hard to see with everything going on, but I put a little bow, a little crumb cake colored baker's twine bow, kind of in this opening right here. And I went ahead and made the bow because sometimes I struggle with my big fat fingers to do that, and I don't want you to have to watch. So I'm going to just put, I love to use the multi-purpose liquid glue for my little baker's twine bows. You can use a mini Stampin' mini glue dot, but this glue really, really is my favorite liquid adhesive. And once it's dry, we are good to go. So we're just going to kind of set that there and let it dry. I'm going to trim out the ends a little bit here in a minute. And the last thing we're going to do is add the gems. And this is from the Leaf and Label gems. You get a packet of gems. Does it say how many gems? 50. And you also get these fun leaf die cuts, maple leaf die cuts, which I have in the back of my mind a plan for a autumn swag, or what do you call them, to put across my fireplace is kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to use all of those for. So stay tuned for that. Okay, I am going to just take a large one of these gems and then 2 of the smaller ones and make a little triangle of 3 right there on the tag, and that is the card. Let's trim up some of these edges. There we go. Now, isn't that adorable? So keep in mind that technique. I don't know if you would call it a curtain technique or a fold back technique. I'm not sure what to call the technique, but use that in several, we made an autumn card, a harvest card, but you could use that for any occasion, and it would really just brings your card up a notch, is my opinion. A little bit fancy. So next time you're needing a fancy card, remember this technique. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And thank you for watching. If you like this recording, give me a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button. I record usually 2 tutorial videos a week. And if you want to go over to my blog, theplaidpoodle.com, you can get on my mailing list, and I send out a free tutorial to my mailing list every Tuesday. We would love to have you there. So you all have a good day. Thank you for joining me, and happy stamping.